Welcome to the Ask Arda Podcast. So I'm Elizabeth Willett, and today we have Arda. Arda is a spiritual mentor. He is the creator of the Rise to Realize process, power process, and he's also an executive life coach. He also is the author of The Art of Becoming Unstuck. Welcome, Arda.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
I am so happy to have you here in my presence today.
Well, we've been thinking about this, talking about this Ask Arda podcast show, and you've got a lot of questions. So I cannot wait for you to ask them, as well as invite everybody to ask their own questions about their lives, about their relationships, about their career, about something that they want to overcome and get unstuck in their lives.
That's right. And that's what this is all about, how to find joy, fulfillment. And I asked you not long ago, I said, I have like 50 questions to ask you. And I think people all over the world have questions to ask you. So this is going to be that platform for getting to know you, your philosophy, your methodology, your thought processes, and how you see life and how you help others every single day. Because I know I've made huge strides in working with you, and I think you can help everyone if we get the word out about what you think.
Thank you. Thank you for being a facilitator to bring this message to many others. I know you have benefited from the power process a lot. And that's why you're so enthusiastic to bring me to this podcast to collaborate on it. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait to face these questions and share my 2 cents. Kind of the way it helped me become who I am today, mentally very clear on where I'm going in life, emotionally very balanced. I have this process, power process. It helped me a lot with my emotional regulation. Less and less I am reacting to things, rising above triggers. So we'll share, Elizabeth, you and I share our experience with this power process, and hopefully we can help 1 or 2 people out there to have a better life.
So before we get into all that, Arda, I want to know more about you. You're a very private person. Just as an aside, I have done web searches on you. Not much comes up except for what you're doing currently. And so even on your LinkedIn. So I want to know more about you, where you were born, grew up, and that, like, were you always a very spiritual person? Yeah, I can't find anything. So don't even try to Google Arda because he's not around. And I was like, Turkey, Arda, whatever. So tell me a little bit. This is going to be like firsthand knowledge for me too.
Well, you want to know about me? What do you want to know about me?
See, this is what you do. You ask the questions back. You were born where? How long did you live there? Just give me a little bit up to how'd you even get to where you are now? Were you always like a little Buddha?
No, nothing. I mean, nothing special. That's why maybe I'm private in nature, and also there's nothing special about it. So I was born in Turkey in a small town called Karabük. It's a pretty much working class. There was a steel factory. Most of the people worked there. I was there till I was 5, and then moved to the 3rd largest city called Izmir on the west coast of Turkey. And then I made my way to Istanbul eventually, where everybody, I think 1 out of 5 people in Turkey
very
live.
crowded, right?
Yeah, very crowded. It's like a New York.
What did you study in school?
Well, I went to German high school, Deutsche Schule Istanbul, for my high school. So middle school and high school, I went there for 8 years. Once I was pretty fluent German speaking person. And then I went to Bosphorus University, studied business.
Oh, business.
Yeah, business. We call it business administration, BA. And it kind of gave you overall taste of what business like. You could take accounting, marketing, advertisement, economics, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty broad program. And then after I graduated, I became an auditor at PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Where is that? Like it's worldwide, right?
It's a worldwide organization. I joined their Istanbul office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you like that? Did you like being an auditor? Was that your joy in life?
Well, as a developing country, Turkey is, I wanted to have a secure career.
Sure.
When I was graduating, I had this, you see how I'm avoiding the question? What did
Yes.
it bring me joy? Well,
Red flag right there.
yeah. I could have been in marketing, working at Procter and Gamble or Coca-Cola, but I was so scared. I don't think I could have succeeded there. So I kind of chose auditing because it was very predictable and you could follow the instructions and just kind of be successful, as well as I wanted to learn the business too. So it just a lot of like safety. It provided a lot of safety and a lot of guarantees in the future. So I just chose to become an auditor in a very prestigious firm. First week, first assignment, second day. I came home around 9 p.m. and I remember having these papers. I brought some papers to audit and all those, books, and not all the books, but just kind of reports or some sort. Everybody went to sleep, 9:30, 10. I started crying. I said, like, what am I doing? What did I do? It was a big revelation.
Right.
It was a big revelation that I didn't choose the career that aligned with me.
You realized it in that moment?
In that moment.
And what did you say? Like, what's gonna change, or are you gonna stick it out?
I decided to stick out. Second day, I went through the training and I like people. I liked really the people that I met in the firm, and everything was great. There was a secure future ahead of me. So I couldn't quit. But I was, it was a big shock. It was just a kind of a big punch in my stomach.
Did you have indicators before then that maybe you'd like to go off onto a different path, or were you just sort of following your family message, or the messages, the patterns that you had learned, that you need to be secure, you need to be in finance, you got to have a good job to have money and to live life?
Yeah, I followed the cues that was put in front of me, the breadcrumbs to stay in the matrix, be part of the matrix, be part of the society, be part of the family tradition, or not tradition in a sense, but my dad was a just kind of a general manager in an office, but a business guy, but he declared bankruptcy right at the time when I was going to college, and right at the time when I needed some money to party or to meet people, to date. We did not have money. So I kind of felt that I wanted security in my career. It could have been that the seed was planted at that time. But this is all, Elizabeth, as you know, this is all subconscious. I'm just kind of a robot. You're just doing.
Well, I think we all are until we have those revelations. So bring me from then to now. Where was the big change, and how did you have the courage to do something else? A lot of people get stuck and they are afraid of leaving that secure job and going to something else. How did you do that?
Something that maybe I need to mention, you mentioned like that I'm a spiritual mentor.
You are.
I would have never dared to call myself spiritual mentor, but I was an incredibly spiritually inquisitive person.
Always?
Always. The earliest that I could remember, I mean, until 5, 7, I think I was all just like very, happy go lucky, very joyful, chasing girls and, like living life. Like, I think I
Yeah,
lived
right.
life in my first 5, 6 years more than the later parts. So when I was 12 years old, I remember I was right after dinner with my mom in the balcony of our apartment in Istanbul. I'm looking at the stars. It's a beautiful Mediterranean night. And we are not talking too much in the family. We didn't talk that much with each other, but just like, hey, how is our beautiful night? Beautiful moon. How is the day? Just very, very, very small words, right? But then I realized this thought came to me. The thought was, as a developing country, there's a big gap between income groups, classes. There's big class. You can see in a good, affluent neighborhood, in front of a very flashy restaurant, you can see a Porsche, which I recollected for some reason. That was the image it was coming. And then in front of the Porsche, there is this horse carriage, a person, usually a guy, you could see homeless, almost homeless, probably lived in shanty towns, collecting Coca-Cola cans so that he can sell for 5 cents or whatever, so that he can, buy a bread for his probably 3, 4, 5 kids with his wife living out of town. Okay. So that image came and I said, what is going on here? What is this life? What is this life? Like, what is happening? Just, is this one time where somebody got lucky, a lucky draw, and somebody's driving a Porsche and eating this incredible meal, where the other person is collecting Coca-Cola cans for a bread and maybe some onion and some little, I don't know, maybe just beans or something, right? What is this difference, and why there's such a difference?
So you noticed that dramatic contrast at 12 years old, and you started thinking,
Yes.
Did the stars have anything to do with it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It was a melancholic night.
So, but actually what you're saying is you started questioning around 12, or probably even before then, but your memory is of starting to question, what is this life? And what am I doing here? And what is this difference, right?
Yes.
And I have to say that a lot of people don't even think that. We're just so in like just survival mode and living so to have that illuminating thought is interesting at such a young age.
Yeah, I didn't think that was weird, but I felt some kind of I was intrigued by that message, image, and the question, like, what is going on here? Hey, stop the train, stop the movie, just pause a little bit. What is going on? It was very, very interesting.
So what did you do with that? Did you continue? Did you dive into books, or did you just keep going on your merry way and follow the path that was in front of you?
I was a very poor reader. I was a very bad student, actually. So really? A very poor reader. I didn't read books. I bought, probably the spiritual book, if you call it that way, I bought was Eric Fromm's Something About Love. And another one was a friend of mine that I met over the summer, a German friend, that she recommended a German book because I couldn't find any Turkish ones, Near-Death Experiences.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So those are the 2 books that I have not read. I bought them.
You never read them?
I have not read. But I kept questioning. I think, Elizabeth, that's what's very, very prominent.
Did you
Then,
have a mentor or anybody to ask these questions or talk to these, or did you keep them to yourself because it was kind of an unusual questions for your age group or for your family? Or
very unusual questions. No mentor. There was no
Okay.
mentor. I did not tell anybody about these questions that I was dealing with almost every day at night. And, you know, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So today, you asked today, because I want to give you that context that there was this other Arda that was completely repressed, suppressed,
Repressed, right, right.
whatever.
You were kind of following your path, but you had this whole other part of you that was living somewhere else and thinking all these thoughts. So how did you finally give attention to this other Arda?
Well, there was one moment, another interesting moment, very pivotal. So I moved to Australia. So I worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers for 2 years, and then I decided to move to Australia because I want to have. This is the motto I had at the time.
Okay.
Because with PricewaterhouseCoopers, I knew I had a secure future.
Right.
I knew I was going to be a CFO, CEO one day, probably between 10 to 15 to 20 years. I would have been by this time probably head of a Turkish company or maybe international Turkish reception. So what I said is that, okay, I think this is done for me. So I can do this anytime. So I checked the box. What I said is, how about instead of being a big fish in a small pond, how about trying to be a small fish in the ocean and try to grow?
Okay.
So I chose Australia. So I migrated to Australia. Second week, or maybe third week, I found some Turkish groups, friends. So they were camping, and I went camping with them, me and Elif, my wife at the time. And fireside talk. It's pretty good nights, and then we had nice little wine and the barbecue and all that kind of stuff. We are, you know, kind of outside in nature. The stars are shining, and I'm kind of like, guys, what do you think about this life that we call life? You know, I introduced that concept, like, is there reincarnation? I mean, it makes sense to me because there's not much fairness, but maybe not. I mean, maybe there's another system that we can, oh my God. There were, I think, 5, 6 couples. So everybody except Elif, my wife, laughed at me.
Oh,
Everybody
really?
shot me down. I mean, like, are you stupid? Why are you even talking? This is just, there's nothing to answer. No, don't ask those stupid questions. Are you a moron? This is like life, just live it, and etc. Like just a big humiliation. So I shut down again.
Yeah. I bet finally you have the courage to say something, and then boom, right out from under you. So you close out.
Big time. So from that date until I pretty much completely suffering from sinus infections, depression.
Is that when you were here in the US?
I moved to the US
What
about
year?
6 years after that. I moved to the States
Okay.
in 1998
Okay.
and joined another accounting firm, Ernst & Young, because I was working in accounting and then just kind of transferred from Australia to the States. And again, miserable, not doing what I needed to do. And then oh my God, how many, 15 years passed. I'm still in accounting, corporate controller. I've now moved to the industry, but still doing finance and accounting. So this the series of ailments start to happen to me. It started with sinus infection every month, pretty much. Every 3 months, it turned into bronchitis, pneumonia. Every 6 months, it turned into like, it's kind of a progressively laryngitis. So it's kind of, I don't know, like a year and a half, close to 2 years, I really went through this cycle of illnesses.
Was your body telling you that something was amiss?
Something was amiss. Something was not working, because here I am, top of my career, VP of finance, married with the love of my life at the time, right? Just soulmates. We were soulmates. We just went through so much. And yet I'm so like suffering, physically suffering. Couldn't sleep because of cough and so tired. Probably I looked older than now, back then, like 15 years ago now. Yeah.
I think anybody listening is going to be able to relate to this because, you know, either chronic fatigue or all these ailments that are coming up and you just work, and you're still not happy, right? You're not fulfilled.
Yeah. You think you are being fulfilled, but you are not. And I didn't think that I could stop right there and take a step back and look at my life.
You didn't think you had the choice?
I didn't have the choice. I didn't think I had any choice, no power whatsoever over what I'm doing or changing my life. Didn't think that I had any power over my life. So I got stuck, but I stuck with it as well.
What's it? You stuck with your job?
With my career, with my marriage, with the way I lived at the time. It just
Where was the point where it just gave way under your feet and you're like, I can't do this anymore? Was it a sudden impact or was it a long-term thinking?
Imagine just like there are some torture things, you know, like something is just like in the movies you see, like something is squeezing in.
Oh, okay.
Looking back, that was what was happening. My body was giving up because it was squeezing like a towel.
Yeah.
Wet towel. Squeeze. What water is coming, that is the energy. It just squeezing my throat, squeezing my lungs, squeezing my stomach, squeezing my brain. It just at one point I said, okay, you know what? There should be some help. And I couldn't take drugs. I couldn't go to a therapist. I needed something.
Why couldn't you? Because it made you sick?
No. It was not the same. It just, I didn't want, again, back to this inquisitive Arda, if you will. I kind of call it, if you have to give me any title, I'd rather be called investigator, by the way.
Well, you are, because you're an internal investigator, always asking questions.
Yes, exactly. So therefore, I didn't want to numb anything that is in front of me or what that I'm feeling. You know, in the 5-step power process, that's actually is reflected pretty much like how you are experiencing life turns into a resource for your knowledge, for your self-knowledge, to acquire knowledge about yourself, become aware of yourself through the difficult times, right? Through these difficult experiences. So I followed pretty much the same thing. I said, I don't want to numb anything. So I don't want to go to the drug or medication route. I don't want to go to therapy because with all due respect, therapy is great. However, it was too talkative. So I already have so much thoughts in my mind. I didn't want to talk more. I want something more fundamental. I want to know why. And I didn't think that therapy will give me why. It would be more make me aware, which I was aware already, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I just see you as, and while you're talking right now, I just see this beam of light, and you have this core light that you reference inside. And that's an amazing resource. Where do you think that came from? That amazing beam of light that you take and you can reflect in.
So, I'm now teaching spiritual awakening course
Yes.
workshop that is coming up. So I kind of feel that we all come with, okay, it's a correct grammar. We all come with a certain tendency, certain influences, certain configuration. This is my configuration. And I happen to love it now. I'm glad because I'm born with it. This is the gift that
It is a gift.
that is given to me, that I need to foster more. And everybody has a special gift, but that matrix, that thinking, conditioning, kind of is in the way. In the way of us discovering our own gifts.
Interesting. Okay, so what I'd like to go back to your story now. So you're like the CFO of a company, you're successful, but you're sick. You reflect, you're like, at some point you must decide that you have a choice.
It happened to, I didn't think that I had a choice, but I started searching. There must be something. What is happening to me? So I started asking the question. So usually when you start asking questions, some answers will appear. It's up to you whether you want to go through that threshold, through that door. But Elif had a friend who worked with an intuitive healer in New York and said, oh my God, my friend Harika says so much great things about Nas, the healer, the intuitive healer. You have to talk to her. She was the one, Elif was the first one, my ex-wife was the first one who did it. And I loved the way Nas did the session. I said, okay, I'm in, I'm going to do it. So I booked the first session without knowing anything, but intuitively, I felt she might have some answers to my questions.
Right. Mm-hmm. And
yeah.
then you continue to study.
You don't want to know what happened after that.
Yeah, I do want to. Now I really want to know.
Like first session, Elizabeth, first session. Oh my God, I want to actually tear up. I'm tearing up. I want to cry now because what happened is that she just laid out to me all in front of me. She said, oh my God, Arda, this is the way you grew up. This is the way you, like, I mean, it's not abuse in a sense, like my parents, very good intention. They had good intention, but
they did the best they could at the time.
At the time, no emotional depth or substance, no even mental, intellectual connection, no connection. Completely felt alone, but never admitted that I was different. Never admitted that I felt dismissed, unrecognized, not recognized, everything. So she's just telling me all of that. Okay.
And she knows nothing about you. She's telling you about your life without knowing you. Okay.
That's a great point. Yes, she's an intuitive healer. She's an amazing person. And she basically was the mirror, and she was telling me all about it, about my life to me. Things that I never acknowledged, they were all buried in my subconscious. Okay. So I think about an hour later, the session finishes. We used to live in North Beach. We were living in North Beach at the time in San Francisco. I just throw myself out of the house into the Washington Square in North Beach, and sat on the bench. And I said, okay, I think if this continues like this, I'm going to lose my job and become homeless. I'm going to probably lose my wife because she's going to not like my loser side, because I feel like I'm a loser, completely removed from removed from society, completely unhinged, unleashed, completely out of the matrix, but just shut out, should like completely shut out. And I'm looking at people and envying them, like couples, you know, hand in hand walking, and they're laughing. I'm going like, oh my God, they're so happy. I realized I was so unhappy. I just broke down on the bench in front of everybody, probably. I mean, if I put a little hat in front of me, probably I would have gotten a couple of dollars.
You would have made some money.
I would probably look miserable. Yeah, I still tear up. It's so interesting. Yeah.
That was a turning point for you, Arda.
That was the turning point. That was the, what do you call it? The beginning of the end for that, or like for my old life, and then beginning of an incredible life that kept unfolding every day, and even today it keeps unfolding.
So you eventually quit your job.
Yeah, it was July 2006. That was.
Did you have anything like to fall back on when you quit your job?
At that time, so I don't want to take too much time, and I know you know how private I am, and you're like pulling me.
I'm so interested.
Like so this led me to understand that I am a healer also. So through the work, we found out that I'm a healer. I happen to be a healer. So then when I found out about this, I ran into my college friend from Turkey randomly, coincidentally, complete randomness here, on the streets of San Francisco. And she tells me there's something that she does, which is an energy healing modality called the Reiki, that she can actually do to me that I can heal more. So she did that to me. She applied Reiki, and I healed. I felt better. So Naz tells me I'm a healer. I didn't believe it. And I run into my friend, who happens to be a Reiki healer, heals my throat at night. I wake up in the morning after she treated me with incredible clarity in my throat and my sinuses. I said, I need to learn this.
Yeah.
Selfishly for myself first. And then I become a healer, a Reiki healer, certified Reiki healer. I start experimenting with it. And it was amazing results. With amazing results, I said, oh my God, I need to tell everybody. So I started spreading that at work as a VP finance. I'm just like, under the table, giving these brochures. Hey, by the way,
do Reiki on the side.
I notice you're coughing. Oh, I notice you have a sinuses.
I think you were also attracting people who wanted to talk about things.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Right. They came up to you and they wanted to know your opinion, your advice.
Until that first session, or maybe a little bit after that, I was invisible. Okay, nobody saw me. After I started healing people, without telling not everybody knew about it. Again, you know how private I am.
Yeah,
so
you're very private. You wouldn't go around. Yeah.
3 people knew about it. No many people told others. People started coming over the side that I was working, less popular side, and inviting me to lunch. Random people. And we will go to lunch, and then they will ask, hey, Arda, I have a problem. We will talk about work and all that kind of stuff. So then they start like, hey, you know what? I have a friend, I have a conflict, and we were just like, I cannot stand her and blah, blah, blah. And I will say something to them. I will just like, hey, why don't you try this? And have you thought about this and that? A month later, this particular person came back and said, oh my God, my relationship with my friend changed. I didn't even remember what I said. With my finance head, I'm still like, what did I say? Tell me so that I can write it down and repeat it with the other person.
So you were being validated for your wisdom and your advice, which is a different experience than you had your whole entire life.
That is a very well put, very well articulated perspective, Elizabeth, because nobody was paying me because I studied business or I had this experience and I did process work or I did accounting, and my salary was that to represent what they were paying me because what I accumulated as an, but these people were with me asking me questions or asking me to lunch because they appreciated me, nothing else.
Right.
That was a big awakening. Exactly. You nailed it. That was the thing. That was the thing. That was so fulfilling.
Yeah, I can just see all these people, and you were attracting these people. Your energy was attracting people because you started to have more self-confidence in what your belief system was and who you were and what you were about. And you were seeing progress in your own body. And you know that others could benefit from that too.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's an amazing story. It's an amazing story. And also, you tell so many people that they can change careers, and you bring them through the process of looking at their lives and how to get unstuck. But what's great is that you're walking the walk and talking the talk because you did exactly that.
I think if another excellent point, and if you feel like what I teach is absolutely from what I experienced and what I learned through my experiences, so that again, finance career helped me to have this incredible template for everybody to follow. It's really all the steps are outlined here, and I still use it. Again, back to that, the talking the talk and walking the walk. I still walk the walk. I still talk the talk because I'm applying power process to my life every day, because I am not different than anybody. So I really want everybody to know that I am not different than everybody. I might be asking too many questions. That's my problem, but it is really, there's no difference.
But you keep asking those questions because I still need those answers. And in the meantime, I'm going to collect everybody else's questions to ask you those questions. And so you can give the answers, because it's fascinating. You have that internal gift of knowledge and power, and you're accessing it every single day. And your disciples or your followers are benefiting from that immensely and changing their lives little by little.
Yeah, and again, back to like, I am my pet peeve is just that followers and disciples and all that kind of stuff. It's just really not me. There's no me to follow. There's no disciples of Arda. Okay, there's nothing like that. Okay,
I understand. It sounds cultish when I say that, or religious. That's not what I meant. But you know what? It was just a word. It's a word that's charged, right?
Yes.
And just, what do you think of the word followers?
The followers, I mean, the power process is against followers. You see what I'm saying, Elizabeth? I don't want to, I mean, it's not even criticism. We are exploring.
No, it's interesting.
Because I don't want anybody to follow. There is a template.
True.
There's a step. You take it and make your decisions and take the power back into your hands and start applying the power process to your life to get mental clarity and emotional balance and physical vitality so that you can take control of your life.
That's right. You guide people. And we each explore our own psyche, and then we come out with what we found and how we do it. It's not like you, but it's what I need to do. But you're there to guide, and I appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. That is I feel needs to be expressed, because that is what that represents me.
Absolutely. And you've said that many, many times. You're not all going to do exactly like I've said or what I do, but you're going to take it, personalize it, and express yourself. Right?
Exactly.
And you sort of like, you just lit that flame, and so we can just go and shine.
Yes. And you are you are Rise to Realize empowerment coach, and
Absolutely.
You have the template, you follow the template, right? You kind of guide the person through the template, through the process, and everybody's choices are different. Everybody's configuration is different. Everybody's experience is different. Everybody's conditioning is different. Everybody's decision-making process is different.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we're coming. I mean, I could talk to you for another 5 hours, and I will in the future. And I think next time we'll go into, your book and your process, so the power process, and which has helped me immensely. Communication tools, what you put in the book, what you're doing now. And then I would like people to send us questions about career, about friendship, about love, about marriage, about children, about spiritual awakening. Anything goes, because I have a zillion questions for you, and I know many others do too, to pick your brain so we can expand our discussions and our understanding of the world and life.
I love it. Thank you for holding space for such a, I feel, sacred and divine energy that it is beyond this world. What you're doing, Elizabeth, the container I feel that you're providing here for me to express all of this is it felt amazing to me. I hope everybody whoever listens to this will feel some kind of maybe a curiosity about their own lives, right?
That's right. And thank you for being so expressive and honest. And you didn't know I was going to ask all those questions. So thank you for being real and forthcoming. So that's what this work is about too.
Thank you. And if anybody wants to kind of get in touch with me, ask questions, so they can go to askarda.com. Mm-hmm. They can fill out the form, the contact form there, and hey, you could just subject line, here's my question, and then one little short paragraph about the question. We can answer them on the podcast. If the podcast is not their thing and they don't want to wait, they can come to our Ask Arda community events last Tuesday of every month. We meet over Zoom. So again, you will see that on askarda.com. Just go and sign up. It's free.
It's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun. It's a great group. I know.
You tell everybody. What am I saying? You tell everybody how fun it is.
Come join us. It's a great group. So many different personalities and questions. It's awesome.
Before we go, did you feel that it's kind of like a mini session? The last one, I started getting into the groove of asking and finding out about the question a little bit more. We had like 10-minute little mini session without going too deep.
It was very helpful, and it gives people a flavor of what you're all about, and in the things that you teach and coach, and how you teach your coaches to coach, and how we're raising the consciousness of the world little by little, and everyone plays a part in that.
It's Rise to Realize power process, right? So we're rising all together, and we are realize a better life, more fulfilling, more meaningful, more purposeful.
And I think it's possible. I know. You just got to tune in. Thank you so much, Arda. I'll talk to you next time.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Bye-bye.
Bye.